Welcome again, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, y'all, so we can get the algorithms going. We can get them numbers up so I can provide you guys with more content, more awakening knowledge, conscience knowledge. Again, everything on this video is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. But again, I'd like to welcome you. I got some really deep information for those who have an open mind, for those who are not stuck in this box. You will be amazed. I like to dedicate this video really to my grandpops, man, because he served in World War One. I'm not going to mention his name out of respect, but man, I kind of wish he was still here. Now that I'm at the age I am now, I would love to pick his brain, man, because he knew a lot. And I just remember, when me and my brothers would always go over my grandparents' house, and we would sit there, be watching TV, and he'd be drinking his beer. His favorite beer was Hams. I don't know if y'all remember this. Some of you old school will, but it was Hams. It was a beer. It was a bear on the can. I always remember that. And he would eat these raw peanuts. And I'm talking about he'd be fucking them up. You hear me? I remember I asked him for some, and I bit into that boy, and it was horrible, and it tickled him to death, man. But they was raw peanuts, man. He'd be cracking them and eating them, man. And I remember my grandmother late at night sweeping them up, But it was times, man, where we'd be sitting there talking with him, and he would always say something like, mention things like aliens and saying they don't come from space, they come from underwater, and giants, they were here, and they've been lying. He just used to say all kind of stuff. But I remember specifically when this Jeffrey Dahmer case broke, because it was it was not far from us, and it was over in Milwaukee. And I remember him saying, this was the first time I really seen him get upset and really agitated. I think we was over there, and the newscast came on showing Dahmer in court, and Pops got up and he was like, "That's a goddamn draconian experiment, a draconian cloning experiment." And we kind of looked at him, and he was extremely, just hyped. I have never seen him like this. And this was the first time my grandmother asked, because she would always, just be quiet whenever he spoke, and she say little things. But this time she was like, what? And he said, "A goddamn draconian cloning experiment. That motherfucker ain't real. He ain't no human. And all these other serial killers out here, these motherfuckers ain't human. They're draconian cloning experiments. They trying to create the perfect draconian offspring. Them motherfuckers right there are not human. They're monsters." And he was so adamant about it. And I'll never forget that, because, I was a little older then, but I just kind of looked at it and, Pops, I didn't think he was crazy, but I just didn't take what he was saying serious, because he did drink a lot, he had them Hams. But as I got older, and especially after I watched this Dahmer series, y'all listen, after I tell y'all this, you're going to look at the Dahmer situation, the movie, in a more broader light. My pop said that Dahmer's father worked for the CEA, and that Dahmer's alleged mother was actually a draconian, Draco. She was a draconian. I forgot it was a word he used, but she wasn't human either. And but what they were doing was trying to raise, and this is what my grandpops said. Now, you guys can believe it if you want. You don't have to. I'm not here to force it. I'm just providing information. Okay? But my pop said that Dahmer's dad worked for the CIA, and his job was to raise and try his best to raise Dahmer as a regular child. Okay? The mother was, it wasn't that she was mentally unstable or nothing. She just was a very, very unstable clone. She was, you know, always doing something. She herself was unstable, and they wanted to execute her, but they needed uh, something about to keep the family stable. They needed to keep her around as much as possible because if you guys don't know, soon after Dahmer died, she died mysteriously. I think she took her own life or something like that. But they got rid of her, man. See, after this came out, they got rid of her. But Dahmer's dad was working for the CIA, and he was raising. His job was to raise Dahmer and monitor him, show him, teach him things about, you know, how to be a man, the human aspect. And Dahmer never could get it. At times, Dahmer's father became very frustrated because he just couldn't get it. And, you know, he kept getting kicked out of school, sent him to the army. He couldn't adapt in the army. They couldn't teach him in the army. And so Dahmer's dad was getting frustrated, man. And he's like, and, you know, he went to his superiors like, listen, I don't even have a life no more. You know, I don't put in all this. Now, he was getting paid really, really good money. But he said, man, I can't do this no more. I don't have a life. You got me dealing with this, whatever it is. And you know, they said, listen, we need you to stay with him a little bit longer, monitor him, let us know how he's doing, and go ahead and get you another wife. They allowed him to separate. Now, they monitored his mother for a very long time. I'm telling you, this is what my grandpops told me. And he said, listen, he said, the reason why you see Dahmer in the movie with all that anatomy, my pop said that he didn't understand what a human was. He didn't understand none of the organs. He didn't understand who he was. He had a hard time understanding who he was, what was inside of him, you know, why he felt the way he felt. He was attracted to other men and he couldn't understand none of that. His dad was, you know, Dahmer's dad was, you know, he was confused with all this and he was trying to figure out what was going on. But the thing about it was Dahmer, he didn't seem dangerous to his dad. And, you know, the superior was like, well, how is he doing? Does he seem like he's a threat? And his dad was like, well, no, you know, he's slowly coming around, okay? But his dad always knew something wasn't right. But eventually Dahmer did move out and he ventured out. He really didn't have a choice, but he ventured out and they stopped monitoring him for a minute. Now, they always knew where Dahmer was. They didn't know what he was actually doing, okay? So when all of this came out, when he finally got busted, this is when the government, they were down here. They was not only in Chicago, but they were in Minnesota, and they had all of Milwaukee basically on lockdown. I'll never forget that because my pops was like, you see all these feds here, you see all these agents, and man, it was crazy. But a lot of you people didn't realize that back then, but the only reason I knew all this because my grandpa was telling me. And so so after that broke and after that came out, everything else began to what should I say, begin to come out about Dahmer, okay, about his dad. Then now they had to listen. He also said every single serial killer that died, the government came and took their brains. He said for study, but that's really bullshit. They're trying to fix what they think is wrong. But listen, a monster, a person without a soul, is a person without a conscience. It's the most dangerous thing on this planet. Okay, and so these things were clones. If you guys watched that movie, and that's what I was as I was watching it, everything my granddad was saying was coming to life, and I was sitting there like, whoa, about Dahmer and his not understanding anatomy and being, fascinated with the heart and opening up people and even drinking blood. He was drinking blood, y'all. This was a draconian clone, and I really honestly, man, I wish my grandpops was here. He was so deep, man. He was deep, and he had, back then, even as a kid, I didn't understand, and that's why sometimes I would ask him like, "Pops, what is this or what is that? What do you?" He said, "You too young to understand. You're just too goddamn young to understand, boy. It's much deeper out here. Everything that you see out here is not what it is." And I just remember, man, him saying the story. But this Dahmer case really, that movie really opened me. I said, dang, man, my granddad. And I was sitting here with my guys. We was watching it. And I was like, dog, my granddaddy said this, man. When I started seeing him, the movie portrayed him exactly how it was going. The only problem is they didn't tell you in the movie that his dad was really working for the CIA, that his mom was also a clone, very unstable. They wanted to see if they can also reproduce, and they did, but it was all unstable. Okay, but they was trying to perfect it. And I remember my pop saying, man, the government need to be put on trial for releasing them things, allowing, because he said the government knew about it. They knew about them releasing these things within not only in the United States, but all over the world. Okay, they was releasing these things, monitoring, seeing how they can adapt, how they can blend in with society, and they couldn't. Even with, what's that one guy? Ted Bundy. He was one of he said they considered him one of their best experiments, because he was nice looking and he was very, very highly, and they say he had a very high IQ. He was very intelligent, but he was a monster. And everybody that interviewed him, if you read any books on these serial killers, they all just seemed so cold. They didn't have no sense of caring, no sense of conscience. They would describe how they killed somebody, or how they ripped their head off, or how they dismembered the body, and they'd explain it as if it was like fixing a cheeseburger or something. These people, they were monsters, and it just puts everything in perspective, man. And it really is scary if you think about it. We don't know who's walking amongst us now. And so I wanted to bring this video up for you guys, man, because I think everything has come into perspective. If we look at this, we'll see, man, that it's highly possible that my grandpa was absolutely right, man. It's much deeper than what we think. I know a lot of you guys probably, man, this guy crazy, man. He has no idea what he's talking about. You need to go take some meds. But I'm telling you guys, I'm standing on this. I always knew, that something wasn't right, but hearing and doing my own research and looking at things, man, this stuff is deep, man, deeper than we actually realize. And we are in a time, though, where consciousness is taking over. Energy of knowledge is taking over. People are waking up. That veil has already been broken. The Bible tells us that veil has been split, but now when it's split, it has now been open. See, the Bible says it was split, but it didn't say it had open. But now that it's split, it's opening, and we begin to see everything for what it really was, and it's deep. But I wanted to share this video with you guys. If you haven't saw that Dahmer movie, remember what I said in this video and watch that Dahmer series on Netflix. It's going to blow you away, as it did me. Because again, I had knew this, but when I had forgot all about it until I started watching it. And I remember what my pop said, man. And it just blew me away. It made sense. It's like, wow, this stuff is deep, man. This stuff is deep. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think it's interesting. I think it is true. And, you know, for those who are also truthers out there, and we are searching for the truth, man, I want y'all to hit that like button, that share, and look forward to me coming out with some more stuff, man, as God has continued to reveal more and more things to me. It's almost overwhelming sometimes when you be given information or you be downloaded with information or with something that is truth. Is almost, you know, scary and overwhelming, because it's like, wow, God, what kind of world are we living in? What kind of planet is this? And you will be amazed, man. You know, I got another series coming out about these mountains and these giants that were really here. It's gonna blow you guys away, man. But I love you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. Please keep me in your prayer, as I will also pray for you guys. Stay strong. Keep your family in prayer. And everybody just continue to show love and positive energy wherever you go. We are surrounded by evil at every turn. We never know when our time is coming. But until then, we should always represent love and positive energy. So I love you guys. Please hit that subscribe button, that notification button, so you guys can get more information when I drop it. But I love you guys. Peace, love, and blessings.